Hey, is copywriting really the most valuable marketing skill you could learn? I think so, and I'm going to tell you why I think that is true and why it's a great path for people to be able to create an online business and the fastest way too. I'm Tina Lorenz. I'm a freelance copywriting mentor, mindset shifter, and transformational business coach and consultant. I help copywriters, entrepreneurs, can't talk, entrepreneurs, marketers, and service providers discover their pathway to clarity and purpose so they can consciously create wealth and abundance through their businesses and in their life. And I'm here today to talk to you about copywriting on the Tina Lorenz Show. So let's talk about that. What is copywriting anyway? Sometimes there's some real confusion amongst people about the difference between copywriting, the actual act of writing, and a copyright, which is the licensing of intellectual property and that type of thing. Completely different topics. Copywriting is writing the words that convince, persuade, and educate, engage, empower, and attract people to every aspect of your program, your product, an idea or a concept. That's how copywriting is used. And it's why it's so valuable, because everything that has to do with anything you're seeing online, on television, in your mailbox, any kind of marketing or reaching out to connect someone to any of these things is done through the means of copywriting. And that's why I say it's the most valuable skill. Now, the other reason I say that is because that's what I've experienced in my own life. I didn't get on into the world of copywriting until I was past the age of 50. I've been online since 2004. Don't do the math, okay? But I went from having no experience whatsoever, never having been paid to write anything ever a day in my life, to being able to create a really thriving business based on copywriting for clients. And so today I want to answer some of the questions that I hear on a regular basis about, can I really do this? Because there's so many right now looking for a new way to have an online business, to have any kind of business, to be able to work and receive the kind of compensation they need and deserve, not waiting for government systems and programs and all of these things right now that are limiting so many people in so many ways at the mercy of the powers that be, right? And so when you have a solid career path that you can follow for an online business, it's really like you're building your own kind of insurance to your own life, really kind of future-proofing your own life and be able to create what you want to create. Now, one of the questions I get asked on a regular basis is, well, don't I have to have previous experience? Or they'll sometimes I'll hear, well, you must have had experience. Absolutely, I did not. I've been on my own since I was 17, didn't get to go to college, had to just start figuring out how to make a life for myself. And it took a long time because I did a lot of other kinds of work. Some of those things really helped me eventually when I came to copywriting, and I'll talk about some of those on other episodes, because I've got some really fun stories about selling face-to-face and really learning what it was to create an audience and attract the right people to what you had and be able to sell effectively by just connecting with people. And that's a whole other aspect of copywriting and marketing. But the point is that when I decided I was going to learn copywriting, I didn't know what it was. I honestly had never heard of it before. And maybe for you, maybe that's how you feel sometimes, but I don't really know what this copywriting deal is all about. Now, the first thing is, I'm going to say freelance copywriting. There's a big difference between working for an agency, and sometimes I kind of get some static from people about that. But basically, when I started, I only began with just one thing. I learned how to write a sales letter, and I would honestly say that writing a sales letter is probably the most complex place to start. It's a more complicated piece of the copywriting picture, because we do things like an opt-in and the emails and sales letters and webinar scripts and video sales letters. It could be a postcard that goes in the mail. It could be a letter that goes in the mail, literally with a stamp on it. All of these things are involved with copywriting. Now, the thing is that sometimes people say to me, well, you have to have other experience. I really had not. I'd only been a clerical worker. But so I believe that it really is possible to learn how to write effective copy. But it's a lot more than just writing the headlines or what we call bullet points, the actual words on the page. There's more to it than that. When you want to write really effectively, you're going to go more deeply into how you connect with your audience and how you make that relationship and understand what it is your client or your ideal audience really needs. But back to just getting started as a copywriter. So some of the questions I get are, am I too old? Well, I'm kind of the, shall we say, the leading the way here with being able to prove that it really does not matter about age. It's more about your curiosity, your ability to learn, your willingness to learn, your any kind of affinity you might have for marketing, at least liking to learn about marketing. Super important aspects of this. You don't have to be, it's not a hard sell, and that's actually what I teach is not the hard sell aspect of this, but it's more about um, giving the answers to people for something they're looking for, something that they're actually looking for. They're looking for a solution, they're looking for an answer, and in a way that is just aligned with how they're thinking and how you're representing whatever it is that you're marketing or promoting, so that it's true and real and conversational, and that you allow that prospect, that ideal customer, comes to it on their own. They actually can decide for themselves if this feels right for them or not. It's not about, the hammerlock of, until someone says, okay, I'll buy the thing. I don't think any of us like that. There's a lot of misconceptions about sales. Some people think selling is kind of a dirty thing or a dirty word. And I prefer to think of it more as providing solutions, providing the answer that someone's already looking for, helping them find that, whether it's for intractable pain, whether it's for how they're going to buy a house, whether it's what kind of car they're going to get, what kind of an online program could be helpful to them to change the trajectory of their life, looking for a coach, looking for a physician. There's so many things that have to do with providing the answer, which the basis of which comes from copywriting and marketing strategies, so that understanding how to get in front of those people with the answer they're looking for, right? So you don't have to have any experience. Okay, so what about the tech part? Hey, I'm totally not a techie, all right? If you can connect a Word document to an email and send it, that's about how complex your tech skills need to be, how sophisticated they need to be. You're not going to do web design. You're not going to build a website unless you want to. This isn't part of being a freelance copywriter. You don't have to do any of the technical stuff. And so what you're going to do is write. If you're the copywriter, you're going to write the copy and you're going to send it to your client. I literally send it as a Word document connected to an email. I don't do any big fancy stuff with it. And so the answer to that question is no, you do not need to have tech skills. You do need to know how to navigate the internet, and you probably do, or you wouldn't even be seeing or hearing this right this minute, right? And so you need to be able to do a Google search, know how to navigate a website, how to get to a place online. That's about it. So not too complex. You do need a computer. Sometimes I have people in my programs that are like, well, I only have a tablet, or can I do it from my phone? Well, I don't recommend that at all. You do need to have a computer, a laptop or a desktop computer. And then you also need to have the internet, because this is how you're going to communicate with people. Helpful to have a cell phone. Don't have to, but I would recommend that you have one. But that's really about all it takes as far as the nuts and bolts, equipment, that type of stuff to get started as a freelance copywriter. And of course, you need to have some kind of a training, right? Now, people say, well, can I just start doing this on my own? Well, you could. I did, actually. But I also invested in programs. I went to events. I did networking. You're going to have to do something besides sit at home and just think, I'll just sort of figure it out all by myself. You're going to have to do something to put yourself out there and get more involved with it so that you can grow with it. You can certainly get started, but to really grow with it, you're going to need to be able to continue to educate yourself and look at these things as investments in yourself. They're not expenses. They're investments in yourself that you're looking for what we call an ROI, a return on investment, meaning that what you put into it, you can get more than that out of it, depending on just that, what you put into it, that you're willing to take the time and the effort to learn it and to grow with it. Now, the other thing I get asked is, well, how am I going to get clients? Or I get notes from people saying, a lot of times, honestly, it's kind of bitter agency folks. People that work for advertising agencies, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades, that have been in the trenches in a different way, more like applying for a job, working for a company, and then getting laid off or pushed to the side or marginalized for whatever reasons, so that someone might get marginalized in their work. And sometimes I sense kind of a bitterness from some of these folks, like, this is not possible to do. You cannot do it this way as a freelancer. But the fact is, you can. It's just that those sentiments come from experiences that are quite different from being a freelance copywriter. So as a freelancer, and this is a super important aspect of this, as a freelancer, you're going to have your own business. You're going to be able to determine who you work with. You get to set your own fees. You work when and how and if you want, right? As someone that's working for an agency, you're kind of at the beck and call of the agency. You literally have to apply for the jobs. That's more and more competitive, and that's where you're going to run into the other thing you don't have to have as a freelancer, a degree. right? As a freelance copywriter, you do not need a college degree. You do not need any special certifications or anything like that. You can just begin by claiming it and doing it and learning to get good at it, as opposed to someone in an agency. Is most likely those jobs are going to require, show us your previous experience, show me how many years you've been doing this, show us your degrees, all of these things. And so, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But it's a whole different world from freelance. Now, the other question is, well, is there enough to go around? Is there enough work to go around? And the answer is absolutely yes. And actually, during some of the economic downturns that we've been through, when we go through the challenges that we're facing right now in the world, there's actually a greater need for copywriters. It's kind of like pandemic proof or disaster proofing yourself with a skill that is so needed, because as businesses are shifting, as things are changing, for everything from homeschooling to how food is delivered, how people are shopping, all of these things require copy. That could be emails, it can be the website, it can be descriptors, it could be a sales letter. Now, when we say sales letter, I don't necessarily mean something that's going in a mailbox. It's just kind of our terminology in the digital world, but really just think of it as a web page or a website, an aspect of a website where the message is about what the product or program is, and you're going through the process of reading this or hearing it as an audio in a video format, where you're understanding what the product is, what the program is, what you're going to get if you sign up, what's involved in that, what's the price for that, all of those things, maybe proof elements like testimonials, things where social proof. These are all what we would call a sales letter, right? And it is, as I said, the more complex part of copywriting. But there's tremendous need, for example, for emails. Emails would be kind of a low-hanging fruit. An easier way to start as a copywriter, a freelance copywriter, would be you could specialize in writing emails. One of the things I teach is things to do with LinkedIn about sections. You could specialize in doing something like that. You could find one little corner of the copywriting world and say, this is what I'm going to do. Now, as for clients, one of the things that I think is so important in anything you're doing with copywriting and marketing is to truly be yourself, truly be who you are, not trying to be someone else, not trying to hide behind a facade, but really just express your values and your way of speaking, your way of writing. And when you do that, you're going to attract the right kinds of clients for you. And there's someone for everyone, so to speak, just like in romance, right? There's someone for everyone when it comes to the world of writing copy, because there's so many different types of markets, different types of audiences, different age groups, different niche markets that you can decide to specialize in and write just for that. I've always written across niche markets and not just specialize in one type, because I feel that I have the ability to kind of step into the shoes of that prospect for the client and really understand what's important about that particular product or program and go there with them. Because I think that Dan Kennedy said the worst number you could ever have in your business is the number one. And so one kind of client, one way to market your services, one way to advertise that you need, and certainly not just one client, for example. So you need to be more multifaceted than that, because then you've got kind of those backup systems and you can kind of move between areas in your markets, right? Now, sometimes right now people will say, well, maybe this isn't a great time to start a new thing and become a freelance copywriter. And I beg to differ, because, for example, during the economic downturn of 2008, huge housing market crunch, I was having just tremendous months as a copywriter, freelance copywriter, writing for clients, because the more things were being challenging in other arenas of life, the more these markets and business people needed new copy. And so I was very, very busy. And there was another aspect of that, though. The other aspect of that was mindset. That instead of me buying into, oh my gosh, look what's happening on the news, look what's happening everywhere, knowing, okay, so part of me recognizes that this is a real thing that's going on in the world, whatever the thing of the moment is, right? And in 2008, I was talking about the housing market was falling apart. But I just totally tuned it out. I honestly just was focused on working with my clients and creating what they needed for them to see their businesses bloom. And in turn, my business was doing the same thing. And I really was not paying close attention to being influenced by what was on the news or in the media. And this is a mindset issue also, because what you focus on also becomes your reality. And I focused on clients, the acquisition of clients, serving them at the highest level, creating amazing marketing campaigns for them, writing those wonderful sales letters that were selling their product. And they were doing well and I was doing well. And so this was also a positive influence financially all around me as far as money flowing to and from and people benefiting from this and prospering and finding the answers to the solutions they were looking for. So this is a key issue. This is why I teach mindset in all of my programs. I talk about the spiritual guidance, that tapping into that deeper wisdom, that there's so much more to it than just learn. Look, there's plenty of programs out there that teach you, quote, copywriting, right? Lots of them, but a lot of them are very superficial or just kind of empty. That you're getting sort of the basic stuff of writing copy. This is a headline, this is a sales letter, these are emails, but they don't go deeper. They don't go deeper in how you really connect with both your own spirit and soul and that guidance system and with your prospects, with your clients. So, and knowing how to structure your business so that you really are working with your ideal clients. There's ways to do all of this even now. And copywriting, there's so many things you could learn to be online, right? Affiliate marketing and being a coach, having a membership, having programs, all of those things are awesome and they can be super powerful and very profitable, but they take time. They take time to build an audience. They could involve expensive ad campaigns. You have to build complex websites. You need to have your funnel running, all of these different things. But with freelance copywriting, you can just begin. You can begin from whatever point you're at. I have many students that have gotten their clients, started getting paid clients within the first few weeks. I think we have a new record of maybe about 14 days in the program. It used to be 26 days. Some people take longer. Some people have taken months to get that first client. It's different for everyone. But the thing is, the potential is there. The potential is there to be able to start a business from sometimes some of my students almost feel like, I don't know if I'm ready. I'm not quite ready. And already someone is asking for my services. And so I call it being 3 steps ahead, to stay 3 steps ahead of what's required here. And you can learn as you go and start being even the affordable copywriter for some people that need to start at a more modest way, and that you could become that person. The other aspect is, if you are a business owner or you have your own products or you have a team, learning more about how to write effective copy and what you should be looking for when you retain the services of a copywriter is also very, very important. I have clients that I start off with being their copywriter, writing for strategies and launches, who then took advantage of some of my trainings and trained their staff, trained their own teams to be able to start writing copy from in-house. I kind of taught my way right out of a position in a sense, which is absolutely fine. It was kind of amusing to me, actually, of the obsolescence because of my skills being transferred to someone else, of being able to learn it and start writing that copy. And so really, it's a great thing to have that happen. And so or if you're hiring a copywriter and you don't know that much about copy yourself, you might go down the wrong path, as opposed to understanding what it's meant to do and how it's structured, the structures of it and the modalities of it, so that you make a good investment when you retain the services of a copywriter. And a lot of times I work with entrepreneurs that are just getting started, and so they need to be able to be cost effective. I mean, my friend Frank Kern has been a mentor, a colleague, a client, all of those things, who's always said he could start a business over again with a pad of paper and a pen because he knew how to write copy. And I've heard many great marketers say that, actually, that if they had to start all over again on the desert island, and they've got a coconut and a pen and a tablet, they could start their online business because they know how to write copy. So that's just some of the reasons that I feel like copywriting is the most valuable skill you could learn. I hope this helps you kind of get a better idea what it is and why you'd want to do it in the first place. I have so many inquiries now from people that are looking for a new path, looking to get out of a classroom, looking to get off the front lines, looking for a way that feels safer, feels more economically secure. You do have to be able to withstand a little bit of uncertainty as an entrepreneur, but the benefits to me far outweigh who has the security anymore with a job, right? I mean, there's so many reasons why that can feel very insecure right now. And being able to say, hey, I'm in my home office, I'm looking out at my beautiful courtyard, I can stop when I want, I can go outside, I don't have to be face to face with anyone. Oh, and that brings me to another question that I often hear, which is, do I have to be an extrovert to do this? And I kind of laugh when I hear that, because no, the answer is no. Hey, a lot of us that are online are working alone. Okay, we're in our home office all day or half a day or whatever it may be. I'm in my mobile office when I travel, and really working in solitude and peacefulness of just that, of being on my own and not having to deal with anybody, not having to talk to anybody unless I want to. And so I think there are many of us in the online space and many of us who are freelance copywriters who are actually more introverted than extroverted because we can and do work by ourselves. Do you need to be able to talk to people? Yeah, you can't just do this in a vacuum. You need to be able to speak with your clients. You need to be able to relate to them. And now we can use Zoom. You can use your phone. You still can use your phone. That's how I started. But it's really pretty effective to be able to meet like this on a Zoom call. And if you're feeling a little camera shy, you can turn the camera off and you can just communicate with voice. But there's many advantages to meeting in this way. I have many clients I've never met face to face. You don't have to meet your clients face to face, and right now you don't have to travel unless you want to, and or if you're even able to at the very present moment. But you can do it entirely from wherever you're at, thanks to the internet, thanks to technology. You can make that connection. You get paid online. You deal with your clients online. You deliver the work online. You don't have to be face to face. You don't have to worry about rules and regulations of how people are intermingling or sizes of groups or anything like that. You can do it all just like I'm talking to you right now, all by myself in my office, what I call world headquarters here in Tucson, Arizona. And you can do it from a kitchen table, corner of bedroom, a little desk or table, have a separate bedroom, build an office, whatever works right for you. But from wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can start from there. So I hope this helped you to understand a little more of what copywriting is all about. If you'd like to learn more, I do have a free copywriting workshop at www.authentic-copy.com, and that's a hyphen, authentic-copy.com. It's a free workshop. It's a little over an hour where I go through, what you might expect to make as a beginning copywriter, what those key elements are that I teach in authentic copy. What am I talking about when I talk about the celestial Sherpa and the spiritual practice, and what do I mean when I talk about success mindset? It's all there for you in that free workshop. So if you're interested in learning more, I invite you to that. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Tina Lorenz Show. I'll be back again soon with some more smart talk about marketing, copywriting, mindset, and the spiritual dimension of how you build a really successful business. Until then, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon.